Right, everyone, welcome to the JMS On Cars YouTube channel, where we're going to be traveling around the UK looking at some of the best car collections we can find. And here we are today in a secret location in Kent, meeting up with a friend of a friend, Mel Streak. So thank you, if you're watching this, Patrick Watts, for putting us in contact with Mel. And Mel's going to give us a little walk around very quickly of some of the cool cars he's got here. And there's a mix of classic and modern and some really, really, really special things. So let's have a look.
Okay, we're starting off with the Series 3 E-Type V12.
Yeah.
It's not one of the last 50, as
Yeah.
you might think, being black. Next to it, you've got the Series 1.5 3.8 flat floor E-Type. And you notice the number's actually quite a known number, 575, because actually 248 Pride was the Italian job car. So I managed to buy that number.
That's very special.
Next over here, I'm sorry, it's all covered in.
That's all right. It's all right.
Covered up in dust sheets and so on. Is the Lotus 7.
Yeah.
This is a Series 2, and it's chassis number 1.
Amazing.
It was totally restored by the chief engineer at Castle Helicopters.
Okay.
So the build on that is
And does this get used?
Yeah, it does. It's just like a little go-kart, to be honest. This is my wife's car. I bought that for her 50th.
Yeah.
It was built the same year that she was built. That's nice and nearly 3,000.
Brilliant.
Then you've got my
1.2 GT3 RS.
GT3 RS.
Weissach pack.
With the Weissach pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is probably one of my favourite cars.
Loveliest car to
time.
drive. I mean, it's probably my favourite car to drive out of everything.
Yeah, I'm not very good with my classics, but these are just phenomenal.
In fact, I've got the replacement coming in November, so I've got the new GT3 RS coming in November.
The 992.
992.
But is this going?
No, no.
Thank God,
No,
because I think these, for me, this is probably one of the best looking.
That
They're fantastic, and then with the black with the gold contrast wheels, and I think these are the lighter wheels as well, the centre locking ones.
And then you're coming over to, this is the Aston X-Pack.
Yeah.
It's actually X-Pack spec car, manual, a real animal of a car.
Yeah.
Very muscly.
Yeah.
True British.
I
Car.
mean, this,
I love it. So this is a Shelby
muscle.
Yeah, this is Shelby 350 GT.
Yeah.
Had a total 360 rotisserie restoration on the car. It's got the side pipes out as well.
Okay.
So it's got a little servo inside.
Yeah.
Flip the exhaust from the back to the side.
Amazing.
Sounds awesome.
So the colour is absolutely stunning. It's almost like an oak metallic green. It looks absolutely
It's called Highland Green.
amazing.
Tucked away in the corner, you've got one of two Formula 1 cars that I've got. This is the 01 VAR car, which was driven by Villeneuve and Olivia Panis.
Okay.
Both got championship points on the car.
Yeah.
I also got Jensen Button's 03 car, the Earthstreams car, which is at my office in reception. So they're just works of art.
Yeah, and they sound just
well,
bonkers.
both those cars are complete except for the engines, because when Honda sold to Ross Brawn, he made Ross destroy the engines because they didn't want that technology going elsewhere.
Wow.
So, but we have got plans to actually put a motor in one of the cars. Here we've got the Aston garage. This is the Aston Martin Vanquish, and this is the S car, which is the one to have. This car actually went back to works and had the manual gearbox conversion.
Amazing.
Because it was always troublesome with the paddle shifts on the Vanquish. This car actually I had brand new in 05, and I can't bring myself to sell it, but I think I am going to sell this car purely because
if anyone wants one of these, hit up Mel. This is for sale.
This is a one-owner car, done 18,000 miles. Going on to that, you've got the DB4. Now this car is in good condition. It's been debumped to make it look a bit like the GT car. But it looks really pretty. It is pretty. It could do with a restoration. But it's not bad enough to do restoration.
And I know the DB5's values have just gone.
Well, as the DB4 has.
Really?
The wheels have rocketed as well. But I always think that actually, and a lot of people think the DB4 is the prettier car.
Yes. It is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, so that's the Aston. So We'll wander down to the what I call the Supercar garage,
Yeah,
Ferrari
let's go and
garage,
have a look at the
and
Supercar garage.
we'll do that now. Yeah, that's a Bell 505. It's the replacement to the Jet Ranger, the world-proven Jet Ranger. Still got some similarities to the Jet Ranger. It's actually got the Long Ranger gearbox and the Long Ranger blades.
Right.
New engine, new monocoque, new shell, all FADEC. Whereas the Jet Ranger was analog. This is all just computer screens.
Yeah.
Full autopilot, TCAS. It's
Easy thing to pilot?
yeah, I mean, I've been flying for 32 years. And yeah, beat the road traffic.
Well, we did see a helicopter go over the M25 and we were wondering whether that was
It might
you or
have
not,
been,
but maybe it was.
Up a bigger hill.
This is nuts. So we've just had a look at Mel's first set of garages where there are some stunning classics, but this behind us is the Supercar garage, and Mel's going to take us through some absolutely outstanding bits of metal in here. So let's have a look, Mel.
Starting off, here is the Lamborghini Diablo.
Diablo, yeah.
And next to it the Countach, which is a 25th anniversary model. We've got the wing off it because it's being painted because there was some corrosion in the rear wing.
Right.
So we haven't just repainted it, it's actually been reskinned because to stop the corrosion coming through. So that's a very specialist thing.
This was made extremely famous by the Wolf of Wall Street.
The white one.
With Leo in it, the white one.
I think every boy had one of these on their wall.
They certainly did.
Going back, you've then got the 355 GTS. 1998 car. This car's done less than 5,000 miles. It's got the carbon fibre seats and it's a manual.
Wow.
And it's a GTS, so the lid comes off. Really lovely. Probably one of the nicest cars I've got to drive.
Really?
The 355, yeah.
Amazing. Classic Ferrari spec as well.
And then of course you've got the good old classic 2416A.
Yeah.
Which again, beautiful looking car.
Beautiful car.
One of my favourite looking cars.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous.
Moving across to come across to the Ford.
GT40.
So GT Ford 2005.
Yeah.
This car's done 600 miles from new.
Wow.
The little story behind this car was that when Ford built these cars, they built, I think it was 1,100 worldwide, and every garage throughout the world had an allocation. And the guy in Ireland, one of the Ford dealers, got a bit upset because he didn't get offered a car.
Right, okay.
So he went back to Ford and said, you know, we'd really like one of these cars. So they decided to build another car. And then once it was imported into Ireland, they then realised that the car tax in Ireland was so horrific that they couldn't afford to actually register the car. So it sat in the showroom for 10 years, and just as a collector's piece. And,
absolutely.
And then I was very lucky to be given the opportunity to buy the new Ford GT, which is a really amazing car.
And this is just the design of this thing is incredible with that what they call it, the teardrop cabin. Yeah. It's an absolutely incredible looking thing. And also the amazing where it sort of
drops down.
It's just such a cool party trick. I absolutely love this. And it's not sort of hideously overpowered. Is it 600-700 horsepower or something like that?
It's only I think 31 cars coming to the UK. Right. I think there's about 24 here at the moment. There's still another handful to go.
Okay. And did you got to spec this all?
I spec'd it up. Yeah, I got it direct from Ford. Yeah. You had to apply to get this car, and I did when they first launched it, and I was turned down. And then later on, I then got invited again because I think they knew I had this car, and I also raced the Ford Mustang and the Ford Lotus Cortina. Going across, you've then got the Project 7 Jaguar, which made 153 of these cars, right-hand drive.
Extremely rare then.
An amazing car.
Yeah.
I love the sound on this car.
I mean, I heard one the other day. There was a guy that came to a meeting one and he revved it, and I was like, just.
And I think this car's done 300 miles.
Wow.
So that's
just incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I'm moving on to the Speciale. That's probably again one of my most favourite cars to drive.
That's one of my favourites as well.
And I'll never sell that car. That is just an amazing car.
Yeah. It's a V8, isn't it, in the Speciale?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you see all the carbon fibre in back here, which is really important, but that was all obviously an optional extra.
And so was this all from you?
So I didn't buy this car brand new. As much as I bought new Ferraris, I couldn't get my hands on this, so I did buy this as a second-hand car, but I've had it quite a few years. It was almost new when I bought it.
I think, in my opinion, it's probably one of the best looking Ferraris,
modern
Ferraris ever made.
Yeah,
I think for me now, the design language has gone a bit all over the place.
Well, I've fallen out with modern Ferraris now.
Well, yeah, but they all look the same. I can't tell.
I'm making too many, and nothing's very special. And the special cars tend to go to special people, and I'm not one of those special people.
Wow.
It appears.
Wow.
Talking a bit, I'm more now. I'd rather put my money into a classic.
Exactly.
And this Daytona, I've had this for 10 years or more. Pretty car, just really, really pretty.
It's nice to have one in blue as well.
I
think the Ferrari in blue is really special.
Definitely,
It's absolutely gorgeous.
You've then got the Lotus Esprit. So a little story about this Lotus Esprit. This is an Essex, and what happened, Essex Petroleum sponsored the Formula One team back in the 80s, and they then produced some Lotus cars, I think 38 something cars. They were going to build 100, but they built a very few, handful anyway, 38. When I was 26, I owned number 13.
Really?
And I was desperate to try and find that car and buy it back. I did locate it in Switzerland, but the guy who owned it wouldn't sell it to me, and it was in a bad state of repair. And anyway, I managed to find this one. This one's number 18, had been totally restored, the car. I love it inside. When you look inside, you've got all the controls up in the ceiling. It's a bit, it's a bit like an aircraft.
Very
inside. And then you've got the 512 Boxer. This is a BBI. This is an injection car. Again, made very few. I think made 150 right-hand drive cars.
Got the fire extinguisher in there, so this is obviously
This car was actually completely red when I bought it.
Right.
But when you bought these new, you could spec them, so it had the matte black or satin black down below, and also the covers on the engine at the back. So I had those all painted, so it's in period.
Fantastic looking thing, absolutely amazing.
Yes,
Is this?
So that was designed and developed by Sir Clive Sinclair. First electric scooter around London, basically, but didn't really take off. But it's an iconic piece of art. My favourite, this is the car.
The
F40.
Of just absolutely
I don't know what you can say about this car, other than I had a poster when I was
that's exactly
in the 1990s, like most people did. And it's a pinnacle of Ferrari. I mean, it's still amazing car to drive. Absolutely amazing.
Difficult to drive?
Not difficult, but it is a handful.
I mean, it's probably to most people this is one of the best cars that will ever be built.
Absolutely.
Potentially.
Yeah,
I think.
very desirable. I mean, prices on these have actually rocketed now.
They have.
And
incredible.
I'm glad I bought one when I did.
And mileage?
I think it's done 34,000 kilometres. And this one is a non-cat, non-adjustable suspension. So this is one to have. I don't know if you can pick it up with the camera, but you can see the carbon going through.
You can.
I
can see that. Yeah, that's amazing.
And people didn't like that, so they had that painted. So, because you don't really want a car that's been painted, because the whole thing is you want to be able to see that carbon coming through.
Exactly.
So Dave looks after the car collection, and we have a workshop down there, which we'll wander down.
Yeah, we'll go and have a look. That'll be amazing.
Okay.
So we've just had a look at some of probably the world's best supercars in Mel's second set of garages, and now we're walking down to the workshop area where the legend here, Dave, does all the kind of work on Mel's cars, and they've got some other cool bits lurking in here. This is my first time here, so
actually, while we're out there, I'll just show you in here. I've got here a 1972 Scorpion tank.
Okay.
Which runs a 4.2 Jaguar E-Type engine. It's on rubber tracks, so we can drive it on the road. I've got a track license for it. It's got a 76mm live cannon, which I've got on my firearms license. So really
just
good
in
fun.
case we have sort of a zombie apocalypse or we go back to war.
Bring it on.
Jump in the tank.
It's a bit of a project that we bought to do as a pickup. So So that's something next. Dave will tell you a bit about this car.
Right.
This is his car.
I mean, this looks modified,
Heavily
modified.
Yeah.
I love modified cars. So
it's 1971 Mark 1 Escort 2-door round headlight.
Yeah.
I've owned it for 31 years, rebuilt it twice. First time round it is Rover V8 3.5 litre.
Yeah.
It's now Mercedes SL 500.
okay. Okay.
That's coupled onto
So
a Rover SD1
doesn't
5-speed
hang
gearbox.
around then?
It doesn't hang around, no. I rebuilt all the engine.
And this has just gone in recently.
It's been in the last year or so.
Okay.
It's done about 500 miles so far, and it's running on quad 48 IDF downdrafts.
Wow.
And it's quite happy on those.
Yeah,
So
I
what
can
do you
imagine.
like
And
another-
it's fully stripped out,
Yeah, fully stripped out.
so it doesn't probably weigh a lot, does it?
No, it's quite trick as well. It's got electric windows, central locking, remote boot. There's no indicator stalks. All the buttons are on the steering wheel.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
You've got a false column to hide wires.
Yeah.
It's very basic. It's built for speed, not for comfort.
Yeah.
So I'm making a
So
scoop, if you like.
you're making it, yeah, cool, yeah.
So that's work in progress, but we don't need a bonnet inside it.
No, you want to be able to see it. It's a masterpiece. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, this is the Force Pro 2, which reason it's down here is because we've just had the front windscreen and the rear windscreen taken out to do some paint work because they tend to rot around the gutters.
Guards Red with silver wheels is an elite spec for these cars.
Great looking car, a great
Absolutely
car to
gorgeous.
drive. Beautiful car to drive.
Been reliable?
Very, yeah, it's just, yeah, it's pretty much bulletproof, that car.
Yeah.
We just, this was done by Patrick Watts.
Yeah, I think I might have even seen it at his place before.
And then Dave has just been finishing some bits off. He's done quite a bit of work to it as well.
Is this one been at Patrick's
Yeah,
before?
so that's my son's, that's Ollie's car, that's his race car.
That's his race car, yeah.
And yeah, so that's just had a full engine rebuild. It's got a new Swift Tune engine in that.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of battle damage from the last race at Lytton.
Yeah.
Then you've got the Bentley T1.
Okay.
Which again is just a beautiful car, lovely to drive.
And that's the essence of luxury, isn't it?
And inside it's all been reupholstered.
Okay.
It's got that lovely smell. If you could bottle the smell.
And this
of
looks
leather.
this looks like it's just rolled off the factory
Yeah.
line. Is it a low mileage example?
I can't remember how many miles it's done, but
Wow.
look inside.
Wow.
Then you've got it's not a British Jeep. It's actually a Hotchkiss Jeep.
Yeah.
We like this. We've then got a Series 1 Lotus Esprit,
Yeah.
which again is going to be restored.
And another Bentley.
This was my father's, who sadly passed away 2 years ago. We kept this car. We've also got my mother's XJS, which my brother's got at the moment. And the XJS is one of the last convertibles. She had it from new, and I think it's done 11,000 miles.
Wow.
So
240Z.
240Z. And then you've got my 240Z next to it,
Yeah.
which is a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing because whilst it looks tatty,
yeah,
it's really known as a Ratson. Everything's all been done except we have nothing been done to the bodywork, and we try and keep it this way because it looks quite cool.
Very cool. Do you know what power it makes?
It's a 2.8 Nissan engine.
Okay.
So it's pretty quick. That's just a track car. So that's.
I always rave about these. What is it? Mark III Clio Sport.
Yeah.
But they're brilliant cars.
And then this is my TBR Griffith 500. They've rebuilt all the engine. This has only done about 16,000 miles. Again, I've had this car 30 odd years, and I bought it in '91. Again,
It's low miles as well.
yeah, it is. Yeah. This is work in progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So yeah, that's about it really.
That's it.
Yeah.
We'll say that's it. I mean, it's an endless